Now, we have many words: authentique, merveilleux, magnifique. Those are just a few of many words that can be used to describe the beauty of French ballet. And here we have with us in our studio today the guys from the Paris Opera Ballet. We have Étoile, Agnès Letestu, and Artistic Director Frédéric Fontaine. Thank you for joining us today. And first of all, how has Vietnam treated you guys?
It was marvelous, actually. People are really so kind and very, very helpful in that crazy project we started 2 years ago. So we had a lot of help for everybody, so that was good.
It's first time for me in Vietnam, and I'm very happy to discover this country, these people, and the show. I hope the exchange was in the same way for people.
Congratulations on your performance. Now, could you share with us why have you chosen the repertoire that you've chosen to showcase to the Vietnamese audience?
Yes, we wanted to show, it's a request from Frédéric also, most Parisian choreography. It can be most Parisian relationship. It can be by the choreographer. We have Roland Petit for Proust, tous les intermittences du cœur, with Gabriel Fauré, with the musician. We have Non Rien de Rien. It's a choreography by Yvan Favier, and it's music by Edith Piaf. So it's typical Paris, Paris, Paris. And we have also all this choreography from Petit Pas, Don Quixote, and Nutcrackers, who are a really French choreographer from the classical repertory, who was a French choreographer, moved to Russia and come back to France. So he's very, very famous, and he worked a lot everywhere. And you know, in the ballet world, everybody speaks in French. Because Petit Pas was a French and went everywhere to learn to everybody the French style. And the name of the step is in French everywhere, that's why. And we have also a choreography from Carmen, new choreography for the Vietnamese people. So it's from Bizet and Mérimée, Bizet the music and Mérimée the story. So very typical French. And we have also Les Enfants du Paradis. It's a choreography by José Martinez, who was a big étoile in Paris Opera Ballet, and now directed the ballet in Madrid. So Les Enfants du Paradis, it's from Carnet and Prévert. It's a story by French movie writer and réalisateur. And that's it. What we have?
Yeah, actually we have also In the Night.
In the Night.
From Jerome Robbins, which is, I would say, more a tribute to repertoire and to the French style. And during that evening, I think people could notice that it was also all of these little stories were love story. And when you think about Paris, you think about l'amour and falling in love in Paris. So I wanted also to have this link between during this gala. And you have also an evolution from the repertoire style with Casse-Noisette and Giselle to more modern and neo-ballet with the pieces from Non, je ne regrette rien and also from Proust. And you have also this creation and world premiere that we did with Olivier Sarra as a choreographer, and we did the choreography together, and with Lucie Barthélémy as a soloist. And we try to work on the new pieces and on a second part of Carmen using the Bizet music. And I think with the reaction of the audience, it was a nice idea to bring that to the show.
What distinguishes French ballet from the other styles from across the world?
Ballet was created at the 16th century by Louis XIV. And it was before it exists, but Louis XIV defined different position. You know, there is the first position, the second position, and different. It's a dance language. Sorry to say that now. So he made a decree and create all this position with French name, as I said. After all the ballet went everywhere in the world, and the classical ballet was French ballet. After, you have different influence. You have Russian influence, you have Danish influence, it's more or less the same, but you have American influence, Italian influence from different countries, because the choreographer went and go back, and there is a lot of exchange. But I think what is the specificity of the French ballet, it's diversity, and I think it's a way to be on stage, and it's details of the costume, details of the way to be on stage, to present yourself. It's not always show off, as we say. It's a little bit more on the reserve, on the it's the French touch, and the French touch is everywhere, in the music, in the cinema, in the fashion, in the book, and it's difficult to explain it.
And also, I think in the French ballet also, it's not all about performance, you know, like touring, and it's also having a big part for interpretation, and that's why also you may use a lot the upper part of the body with the neck, with the face, with the arm. This is like a really big character of the French technical.
To introduce the fine techniques of French ballet to audiences in Hanoi, the organizers decided to throw the biggest French ballet gala the city has ever seen.
The National Convention Center is a convention center, so the stage is not really fit for a dance performance. Here you will see we have to construct this with the wood, which is like really smooth, and we are putting some linoleum, the black one, like that. They are not slippery. Also, you see this curtain is really special because for the pieces in the night, you have this curtain with sparkling, so with light. You will find the orchestra there. You can see the light also here. So we have many lights, if you see everywhere. So for all the pieces, we have to change a lot of different lights. So you have different kind of techniques. And I think it's a lot of work, but I think it's worth it to see the show.
Everything else too fast, too slow.
Thì này nó có hơi khác biệt một chút, tức là cái tâm lý của mình là luôn luôn mình phải chuẩn bị. Ví dụ như là có thể họ sẽ múa nhanh, họ sẽ múa chậm, thì là mình phải chuẩn bị cái tempo. Khi mà họ diễn trích đoạn này thì có một cái rất hay, tức là nó lại muôn màu và muôn vẻ. Tức là họ đã chọn những cái trích đoạn hay nhất để mang sang đây trình diễn, và chúng ta khán giả lại được thưởng thức rất là nhiều trạng thái, ví dụ múa duo chẳng hạn hay là solo.
So what sort of like special techniques or skills are required to perform these repertoire that you're bringing to Vietnam?
This show, as you could see, it's really heteroclite, how you say? It's with very different kind of virtuosity. You know, it can be virtuose to be really soft, romantic, to be like a ghost, or it can be virtuose also to be very fast, or to be very dramatic. And all this is different part of the possibility for a dancer, and a dancer have to work on many different kind of expression. So you can be better in dramatic performance, or you can be better in fouetté and virtuosity, like Don Quixote or Casse-Noisette, Nutcrackers, or you can be very powerful in a modern piece, more modern piece. So you have to work on different level, and that's very important and very interesting. So I think, as Frédéric said, it was very interesting for the audience to see all these different possibilities.
The Paris Ballet features a large number of principal French dancers from dance companies in France, Spain, and the US, including Audrey Bizarre and Florian Magninet from the Paris Opera Ballet, Mathilde Fuste and Carlo Delano from the San Francisco Ballet, and Aida Badia and Esteban Belanya from the Spanish National Dance Company. Among these, Mathilde Fuste, dubbed the French Girl, was the most anticipated as she has a Vietnamese bloodline. At the age of 17, she joined the Paris Opera Ballet and was promoted to soloist. 10 years later, Mathilde moved to the San Francisco Ballet and became a principal dancer, the highest rank for a ballerina. She's praised for her compelling interpretation of classic roles with a unique combination of French chic, joyful energy, and perfect technique.
I would take a little bit of the French style, a little bit of the American style, maybe the chic and the joy, and shake it and do the perfect ballerina.
The Paris Ballet also presented the 75-year-old French pianist Henri Bagda, dubbed the best-kept secret of the French piano. A prodigy at the age of 6, Bagda studied piano in both Paris and New York under the guidance of great musicians. He absorbed various traditions that helped him develop his brilliant, elegant, and sometimes darkly passionate performances.
I can see like the tight connection between the instrumentalists, the musicians, and the ballet dancers. This time, you guys also have a chance to, you know, cooperate and collaborate with the Vietnamese musicians from the National Symphony Orchestra of Vietnam as well. What did you enjoy the most about working with them?
You know, there is a fantastic thing in the music if you don't have to speak. There is score, there is a show, and you just have to see and to brace each other with the conductor, and the conductor can brace with the dancer and feel. And when they feel and when they breathe with the dancer, it's magic and it's fantastic. And it's just a question of feeling, you know. If you can have an exchange with the conductor who is in front of you, and you can see the eyes and you can see he's with you and you are with him. It's fantastic, really.
And we had the chance also to have Ona Tetsuji as a conductor, and he was conducting also at Nagoya Orchestra and at Scala de Milan. So I think we had to work a lot to make it possible, but it was really amazing to work with all those musicians and with him.
"3,000 people at the National Convention Center in Hanoi were treated with excerpts from 9 ballets that best represent the classical romanticism as well as contemporary styles of French ballet.
It is just beautiful, absolutely stunning to watch it. There was a moment where I had tears in my eyes because there was just so much beauty.
Tôi cũng đã được xem ballet của Nga, cũng được xem ballet của một số nước, nhưng mà đúng là ballet Pháp mang đặc trưng của nền văn hóa Pháp rất cao. Đó là sự tinh tế, sự uyển chuyển, hòa quyện một cách cực kỳ tinh tế giữa âm nhạc, vũ điệu và người vũ công.
Romantic ballet emphasizes intense emotion and often focuses on female dancers and features pointed work, flowing and precise movements, while contemporary ballet is much more open. Whatever it is, Hanoi audience enjoy it very much.
Những cái tiết mục cổ điển thì nó thực sự nó đã chạm được đến cái trái tim của người xem. Còn những cái phần hiện đại đó là những cái đột phá mới, tiết mục tạo hình của hai chàng trai, đó là những cái đúng như là những nghệ sĩ điêu khắc vậy, điêu khắc bằng hình thể. Mọi động tác đều cực kỳ là đẹp mắt và chuẩn xác. Tôi nghĩ rằng đấy là tiết mục đỉnh cao.
After this one-off performance, the organizers plan to take this Paris Dance Galaxy to other cities including Seoul, Dubai, Doha, Montreal, and Budapest.
There's a common misconception that ballet is just only gentle and it's soft, and what you guys do seems sort of like effortless, but what's truly required behind it?
Work.
Okay.
A lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work. From the childhood, you have to work a lot. Also, yeah, you have talent, but without work, there is nothing. I think so.
And speaking of work, what sort of like physical requirements are there?
Like everyday class and rehearsal, like every day with the choreographer, etc. And you were talking about the dancer, the male dancer. They have also to lift the girl like that, and so even if they are light, it's a lot of practice and a lot of workout also, apart from the class.
And always smile.
Yeah.
Even if it's difficult.
Okay, I never actually tried it, and I probably wouldn't. But can you tell us how does it actually feel when you do that? Obviously, you've had your own experience dancing before.
I don't know. I was thinking about powerful, but actually the girl do a lot of work here above. If she doesn't really tight her body and engage herself, this is not possible. So this is like we say, the pas de deux. You know, you have to be really linked between each other, and this is the question of dynamic and rhythm, and with the two of us.
Coordination.
So, yeah,
also.
Coordination. This is not only the strength. This is strength plus all of this magic.
So how can you sort of like practice to achieve this strength?
When you are on rehearsal every day, for big ballet, for full-on ballet, for Swan Lake or Don Quixote, you work about 1 month every day, because you want to get memorization, okay, to have the brace, to have the coordination with your partner, to have the theatrical relationship also, and you want to be free on stage and to don't think about your technique. You know, when you work a lot, you can forget the technique. Profiter
to enjoy.
To enjoy it. But you know, we start very young. We start about 8 or 10, seriously 10, and Now, when I turn back, I say, wow, it was a lot of work and I didn't know it would be so difficult and so many things to do for the jump, for the point shoes. Sometimes you hurt, you have some injuries. Sometimes you have many competition, and it works or it doesn't work. You fall and you have to get up and to continue. So sometimes it's not easy.
Born in 1971 in Paris, Agnès Le Testu began dancing around the age of 6 after having seen a video of Swan Lake. She joined the opera ballet school when she was 10. Back then, she was a shy but graceful pupil and was destined to become one of the leading dancers in the company. Le Testu entered the Paris Opera Ballet Company in 1987 at the age of 16. The Paris Opera Ballet is notorious for its competitive environment. Only a handful achieves the status of an étoile, the pinnacle of the Paris Opera Ballet hierarchy after quadrille, Choreography, Sujet, and Premier Danseurs. After almost 10 years of relentless efforts, she was named an étoile, the highest rank a dancer can reach at the Paris Opera Ballet, after a performance of Swan Lake in October 1997.
Agnès always gave very, very impeccable performances of the ballets. Yeah. They were always just perfect interpretations. Yeah. And I think that is part of her character. She can't imagine doing less than that.
What makes Le Testu truly unique is her versatility in contemporary and classic works. Each time she is completely immersed in the role she is dancing. Her acting skills and interpretation of the music were truly phenomenal.
Thanks to her intelligence, her modesty, her ambition and the many contracts within her, she gave one of the most beautiful interpretations of the roles.
In October 2013, she appeared in Les Dames aux Camélias at the Paris Opera Ballet in her farewell performance for the company, portraying Marguerite Gautier to great acclaim.
So, is there a particular memory that you haven't forgotten, that you can't forget about, your dancing career, related to, how hard you have to work and all that?
When I was a child, I didn't have a lot of power to jump, so I had to work on that because long leg and very flexible, and sometimes it's not easy to manage both things, to be very to have this powerful to jump and to be flexible. So I remember I had to work with weight. I put weight on a little weight on my here, on my hand, on the waist to work on this and to develop more muscles on the legs. Yes, but it's a question of quality, okay, but of coordination, and to think about it. Sometimes people say, oh, it's a physical activity, so it's physical. But it's not only physical. You have to think about what you do and why it doesn't work or why it works. And you have to be clever, and you have to see the other children, how they do it, to listen to the teacher. Dancers have to sing and to dance.
So what inspires your success?
It can be books, it can be movie, a lot of movie. When I create something for a role, for example, I need to read everything about this role. If it's Lady of Camellia, for example, because it's a ballet I did from John Neumeyer, I didn't only dance the ballet. I always want to read the story, first things, read the story, understand the story, read all book around this story, see all the opera, Traviata, to see all the movie, and to speak with the people about this period. It's very important to be in the context, to understand what we do. And fashion also inspired me, because you know, as I create costume, fashion is very important for me, because you have some details, we have some just small things you can see on a book, on a magazine, and you say, oh, this is a good idea, I can do it, but in another way. It's like that, to be very awake of everything, I think. It's one of the secrets.
You've also transitioned from being a ballet dancer to being a costume designer as well. Why and how did this happen?
But you know why? I think I was interested by the costume before I wanted to dance. Because when I saw this movie of Swan Lake with Margot Fontaine and Rudolf Nureyev, first thing was the costume. And I asked my parents to wear the same costume. I wanted the same costume. It was very important for me. So when I went to my first ballet class and there were no costume, I was a little bit disappointed. But after I worked, and the ballet inspired me very much. And later, when I did the first gala, you know, when I was in the company and I started to do some performance as professional, I always made the decoration of my costume, of my tutu, and of my partner costume also. And one day, José Martinez, my partner, wanted to do his first choreography, and he said to me, you know, you always speak about costume and you would like to do a costume like that for this kind of choreography. I will do my first choreography, you will do my costume. And I start like that. So I did, it was a small piece for 6 dancers, and after he asked me more, and after Brigitte Lefebvre, the ballet director at this time of Paris Opera Ballet, asked me to do the costume of the piece for the school of Paris Opera Ballet. It was for the children, and José was doing the choreography. And after it was a big success, and after Brigitte Lefebvre again asked me to do Les Enfants du Paradis. And you saw an extract on our gala, so I did this big production. It was 300 costumes for Les Enfants du Paradis. So I worked a lot with José Martinez and for Paris Opera Ballet also, and I continue after with Pierre Lacotte, and I do many for Opera de Vienne, Staatsoper in Vienna also. I did many different costumes in many different theaters, but I think I start to be interested by the costume before the dance.
Frédéric Fontaine has always loved to dance since an early age. However, dancing wasn't the wave of life his parents exactly wanted for him. After triple masters in science, communication and marketing, and performing arts, Fontaine worked with main international brands as art director. After almost 20 years working in arts and communication, he created Alpha Libra, a bridge to connect creative artists and communication experts and bring art performances to many countries around the world. Paris Ballet is one of his latest projects. In order to bring the best French ballet to Vietnam, it takes him 2 years of preparations.
You're also a choreographer as well. How does this come into play?
From the beginning I was curious about doing choreography and staging, and that's helped me after for the event I was doing for the luxury brand. And at the beginning, just 1 year after I finished my master, I proposed to the company I was a choreography, and we won a prize, a little prize in Switzerland. And I imagined the choreography with some molecule, and even the name is a link between the word love in France and a word which is quite similar, but which is linked with molecules. So the name was M. And so I try to mix all the time things like that. And for the creation we did on Carmen Toujours with Olivier Sarah, so we worked together. It's like many years we know each other, and I wanted to propose something different than the original Carmen. So we work on Don Jose, the main male character, and in love with Carmen. And the idea was he was thinking about Carmen like an obsession. And after that, he see everybody as his Carmen, and it's like really repeating, and he becoming crazy. So that was the beginning of the creation. So I try sometimes to mix up things, and maybe sometimes you look at a painting just this way, but maybe you can look that way, or that way. Sometimes it's good to be out of the box.
Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. C'est payé. J'ai allumé le feu, mes chagrins, mes plaisirs. Je n'ai plus besoin de balayer les amours avec leur trémolo, balayer pour toujours. Je repars à zéro. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien, ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien, car ma vie, mes joies, aujourd'hui, ça commence avec toi.
So obviously ballet has existed for a long time. It's an old art, it's becoming more contemporary now, but how does it keep being relevant to the contemporary and modern day context?
I think you can speak about old story on old piece, classical, and to put them in a new context. You know, we call that a transposition, and we spoke before about Swan Lake from Matthew Bourne, the Swan Lake in Billy Elliot movie. You see, there is a very old traditional ballet with a woman who are doing the swan, and there is this choreographer who wanted to read this story in a new way and put this ballet in another world, very contemporary way of dancing, and it's main, only main. So you have a new vision of the swan. The swan is not only girl, but it can be main. So with the arm, you can see, for example, it's a physical example, the arm can express when the bird's flying with all this hail, and okay. And in the new version of Matthew Boone, harm can be the beck. You say the noise of the bird, and with the body you can express different part of the animal, the way of telling the story. It's different. You don't have point shoes. It's completely a new transposition. You can see that for opera singing also. Sometimes you have a traditional traviata and a new traviata in another century. I think we can keep the story, the big traditional story, and put them in our world, in our century now, you know. So it can be a way to pass from the classical to the modern.
In every century, actually, they refresh some ballet actually, and you had in every century also some people who are making a revolution in the ballet world, like Nijinsky in his time, and also Graham, and so you know, you have people who are creating new techniques and who are taking a bit of the old one and are refreshing, and ballet is always evolving. It's not like stuck in a box, and it's also we have to respect and to keep the repertoire, and also to make an evolution in every decade.
So, before we finish, I just want to ask you, what's your advice for the little boys and girls who aspire to be ballerinos and ballerinas?
My advice is, maybe it's boring, but it's to work and to love what we do, because you cannot count your time. You are not only a dancer when you are in the studio, you are a dancer all the time. You have to think about your work all the time. It's in the tube, it's in the train, it's when you read something, you have to take care of your body, of what you eat. It's like a sportif. So the advice is to be sure you like what you do, and to be sure to want to give all this work, because it's a lot of work.
And from my age of 5, I wanted to be on stage. And secretly I kept my dreams, and I think you have to follow your dream and to follow your lucky star, and but it is a lot of work. I'm agree, and you don't succeed, and you don't arrive on stage like that if you're not working.
So after the success here in Vietnam, how do you plan to build on that relationship with Vietnam and its people?
I really can't wait doing something again here in Vietnam. Maybe next time in in Ho Chi Minh City. I hope, finger crossed, that we can do it. And I was really happy to have this cooperation. So maybe next time we could come back with some other ballet extract, and maybe having some opera singer from here, or having a designer working on a world premiere, and we can do a ballet. I don't know, there is so many possibilities.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
joining our show and sharing all your interesting insights, and we wish you the best of luck with your future endeavours.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, we hope that through this edition of Talk Vietnam, the next time you go to a ballet, you may indulge it, you may understand it, you may love it just a little bit more. And for you ballerinos and ballerinas who aspire to become étoiles in the future out there, we hope that we have filled your dreams as well. Thank you very much for joining us on Talk Vietnam. Goodbye for now, and until next time.